Hi, and welcome to the Experience Baseline effort for the Verified Stage Group, focusing in on setting up GitLab-CI. So the Experience Baseline effort, including the recommendations that's come out of it, is done because of certain reasons. So let me explain why by reading out this little section from our handbook page. As UX practitioners, we must think strategically about fixing usability challenges within the GitLab product. Creating an experience baseline with associated recommendations enables us to identify scope and track the effort of addressing usability concerns within a specific workflow. When it's complete, we have the information required to collaborate with product managers on grouping fixes into meaningful iterations and prioritizing UX-related issues. So there are several parts of this effort, which I will not go into detail into with this video. But what we'll be doing is showing you the journey of this of the experience baseline in this video, in a click-through video, basically, which will be, and at the end, we'll be giving a grade using this grading rubric. This will essentially set up the baseline, which we'll be trying to improve with the recommendations that follow it. So for this effort, I set up an issue that includes all information that comes out of this effort. I'll be sure to include it into the YouTube video description so it's easy to find. One thing to be noted out is that the job to be done where we're going to focus in on is when I have created my project, I want to set up an automated testing inside GitLab so I can assure every commit before merging. Our assumption is that we're going to perform as our DevOps engineering persona, a user that matches that persona, in other words. And with that, let's move on to the customer journey inside this testing project. So what I've done with this project is use the basic Node.js template project, which includes already a bunch of files and is can be considered a default Node.js project. So let's jump into that, shall we? So our first step in here would be to consider where we should start with setting up GitLab-CI, or perhaps even state like, where do I get the indication that this is possible to set up within this product? Looking at this page, I would say that there are a couple of cues indicating that this is possible. Within the navigation, I see that there's CI/CD, there are some pipelines jobs, schedules, etc. Looking further, I see that we have some options here, including enabling auto DevOps, adding Kubernetes clusters, and eventually setting up CI/CD, which is basically what I'm trying to do here. This seems to be the most obvious point, but at the same time, I would say that it is one of many options, and it's quite subtly presented within the product. So let's click on that and see what happens. So apparently we're moved into a file creation view, which is kind of generic, but it includes apparently something related to GitLab-CI. This apparently is going to be some kind of a configuration file, which currently includes nothing. Also, it has the default commit message. We're apparently going to add this file to master, which is the master branch. Up on top, I see again GitLab-CI YAML. And then when I click on it, I can see that this is for the template type, which apparently there are multiple of. Docker file might also be interesting to look into. But for now, let's keep it the way it is and see in the second dropdown where we can also see GitLab-CI indicated and basically see this file name be written out in a different format that we can apply a template. As we can see in the drop down, there are apparently a lot of options available, including apparently Node.js. Looking a little bit further, see there's a lot of them, including some pages or a pages header apparently, because I cannot click on it. Let's go for Node.js and see what happens. See that my template is applied. There's some stuff in here. That's good to see. Apparently there's additional documentation that I should figure out if need be. Cannot click it, but for now that's all right. I think we're just gonna go with it and see what happens. So with this, I'm gonna commit my changes. The file has been successfully created, all right. And with that, I can see that GitLab-CI configuration is valid, including learning more. What I can see now is that there's apparently something happening, which is happening here in the commit. The commit is running. I would expect the pipeline is running here, but let's dive into that, which I can apparently click on because my cursor indicates that. And as we move on to the pipeline page, we can see there are two jobs being run, test async and test DB. Just for the sake of this video, as I'm recording this at a moment where every GitLab-CI runner is immediately available and it immediately sprung up to being created and to running, it seems that the GitLab-CI status is immediately visible. In prior recordings, this wasn't always the case. So let's consider that this icon is not visible and there's no indication of something happening in the background other than that. With that, I'm left in this state where I'm unsure how to proceed, for which I ventured into the left sidebar. For that left sidebar, there's only one true indication for CI/CD, or CI specifically, which is this CI/CD menu item bar. Kind of interested in my pipeline, see if anything is running, so let's click on that. And with that, I'm moved apparently to the pipeline list page. I can see that it failed. It was triggered by me. Indeed, I added the GitLab-CI YAML, so apparently it runs off this file being added with it being pushed, so triggered the pipeline. There are some stages, and within that stage, I apparently got a single one, which has been failed as both jobs are failed edit. All right, so with that, let's find out what is going wrong, right? We want to find out why our pipeline is failing in order to be able to fix that. I moved into the pipeline detail page, it seems, and see this indication apart from the status buttons that I can move into the failed jobs tab. So let's do that. And it's nice to see that I'm able to see excerpts showing me the job failed, a summary of what of information that tells me why this job failed. So apparently there are some modules not found, which is actually the same in both jobs. So what I need to do, I think, is going back to the GitLab-CI YAML in order to see what it's missing, because it's missing some modules. So let's do that. There's no clear path to that GitLab-CI YAML configuration, but I know that probably can go to the repository, to the project homepage, where the project repository is also shown. Let me see. So I clicked on that. See that my CI/CD configuration is set up here as well. That button has changed. It's quite nice, actually. Can click on it, and I'm back to the place where I was before. So if we can see here, it's expecting some node modules or some these files actually inside every job. There are some different ones, but they're in both. So let's edit these out and see if we can get the pipeline green, so we know we're doing the right thing. Apparently 2 edit buttons here. Don't know which one to use. Web ID seems enticing, but edit seems the more safer option. So let's go with that. A little bit subtle in this view, but it's all right. And let's replace these for now with a little echo command. We're going to update the GitLab-CI YAML. That's all right. So we're going to commit our changes. We're going to move back. So here we see an example of when it doesn't immediately show the pipeline status within this view, which is what I explained before. So with this, we got no indication of the pipeline being started or running or anything like that. The only next queue we have is indeed, again, that CI/CD sidebar, which we'll click on. And after that, we see indeed that our pipeline is running, which is good. Let's wait a little minute, see if this updates live, yes or no. It's nice that we can see this is the latest. This is run on updating the GitLab-CI YAML, not on adding the GitLab-CI YAML. So this is a different commit, both on the master branch. Actually, let's dive in already and see what happens. So it is busy due to this indicator. It's pretty good. Let's give it a minute. Apparently there's some fatal error here, but our commands run nonetheless. I was checking for a cache here, but as it is a first job in the pipeline, I can see why that will not find anything. It seems our job was successful. That's great. So with that, apparently we're all done. We can see that our GitLab-CI has been set up, and it actually triggers after every commit, which is quite nice. So with that, the experience baseline walkthrough video, or review of the customer journey along this job to be done, is completed. And a last note to that is that I've given this experience an average. Workflow clearly needs some improvement. Here and there's some shortcomings. We don't, may take the user a little bit longer to complete the test than it should, and sometimes it's not really clear how to proceed, so it might be easy for the user to abandon the process or try again later. There's some unnecessary complexity or unnecessary steps. I think the mismatch between the template and the project is also something to worry about. But hey, that's up for recommendations and see how we can improve this baseline experience. Thank you for following along. Be sure to check out the issue. Always feel free to leave any feedback. Be sure to check the description of this video, and thank you so much.